How's it going, guys? This is Legendary Nats. Doing a little bit of post commentary. And you're probably wondering why I'm in the Undead Burg, in the same place that we fought Havel. But we're actually going to take on the boss today. And we're going to kind of make our way down into Darkroot Garden. Now, I had mentioned earlier that I was going to show you guys how to take on the hydras. And that's how I'm going to show you how to do that. But real quick, and you're going to see me kind of do something here. See, the hydra shoots out those big old water blasts. And my goal was to kind of get the crystal golems in the way of those blasts so that I wouldn't have to fight them. But I was very unsuccessful, so I ended up having to fight them anyways. And besides, I'm actually stronger than what they are. I actually two-shot them for the most part. But it's kind of interesting that we have crystal golems in this area. Now, if you did not know, crystal golems are actually linked with Seat the Scaleless. Those big giant crystals on their back, that big giant one that you see, that is actually used to capture maidens. And we will actually see one that actually has a maiden inside it. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a good shot of it whenever we do take on this particular one, but there is a particular golem. It's actually a golden golem, and we're going to actually have to reset the game to be able to even show it. But you see I can two-shot these guys now, and they have the chance to drop these blue Titanite chunks. If you make a magic weapon, that's actually what you use to level them up. But these guys are out and about trying to find maidens. And you're probably wondering, well, I haven't seen any maidens in this particular area. Well, that's because one of them actually did catch a maiden, but it just doesn't show it just yet. And what you see right here, I'm switching out my Chloranthe ring and kind of showing you a little bit of what I have. I still have my Claymore, but I'm rocking a different shield today to kind of give me a little bit more defense. And since I didn't really need my Grass Crest shield at this time, that just kind of helps me out. But and you see that those water blasts actually do quite a bit of damage. I made the mistake, I didn't die here, but I ended up making the mistake right here, thinking I can run around them. But see, they actually have like a little AoE around them. But you're going to want to have that Rusted Iron Ring. It does help it out a lot. You don't need it, but it does help out. But you want to kind of move out into the water right here. And you're going to want to bait this attack that they just did. Now you see me completely whiff, but I did cut off a head. And that's kind of what you want to do. Now, that's one of the ways. The other way, which I find a little bit easier, once you cut off a couple of the heads, I find it actually easier to use a bow. And you can actually just completely shoot that Hydra. And you can even just shoot off the heads if you want, but you can shoot the main body and it'll drop heads left and right. But that's one of the easiest ways to take it out. The Hydra's really not that bad. Now, if you're a little bit lower level than what I am, I'm like level 66 or something like that. It can make it a little bit difficult. And I'm using a +5 composite bow. And the composite bow shoots a little faster than the rest of the bows. And in my opinion, it's one of the best bows. But you can use this and it will actually do a lot of damage and end up killing the thing. So the Hydra's really not that bad to take on. But you come across in this place and you're sitting here wondering, why are these crystal golems here? Why are they searching for maidens down in this area? There's no maidens. Well, like I mentioned before, there is a maiden and she has actually been caught. And we're going to learn about that right about now. We collected a dragon scale and Dusk's crown ring. Now that crown ring is the interesting part. I'll let you guys go ahead and read it real quick. It's a little hard to read it on my screen in the editing thing. It doesn't make it as easy to read, unfortunately. But essentially, that crown ring actually helps us out, knowing that there is a woman by the name of Dusk. And she is actually from the ancient land of Ulasil. Ulasil and Darkroot Garden are actually one and the same. And what's even crazier is that Ulasil was completely ravaged by the Abyss. And you'll see me walk over here real quick. And I look around, I'm like, oh, there's no crystal golem. That's not right. That shouldn't be happening here. And so you'll actually see me quit out my game real quick. I would normally edit it, but it doesn't take long for Dark Souls 1 to load up at all. It takes like no time, so that's why I don't really care. But we noticed that Ulasil, or Darkroot Garden, is right next to New Londo. And New Londo is one of the places that was completely overrun by the Abyss itself. And you see that this golem is a little bit stronger, but not that much stronger to me, because I do have a plus 15 weapon. My armors are quite high in defense, and plus I'm high in level already, so... Now, if you do kill this thing, do not, I repeat, do not use anything that has a lasting area of effect attack, because you don't want to hit her. But this is Dusk from Ulasil. She is the maiden.
So, it is thou who rescued me. Most gracious, I am deeply obliged. I am Dusk of Ulasil. I cometh from an age long before thine. I cannot stay here for long. So, before I disappear, allow me to ask one thing. My home, Ulasil, is the home of ancient sorceries. My hope is to pass this profound knowledge to thee, with thine approval. Would this be of assistance to thee?
Do not say no. Do not.
Heartfelt thanks. I am pleased beyond words. Then I shout, engrave my signature. Thou art in need. Pray summon me from my signature. It seems that my time is done. May the great flames guide thee.
And she'll disappear. I say don't say no, because if you were to say no, by chance, because you're wanting to know what her audio or what her commentary is going to be, if you end up saying no, she'll just disappear. But since we said yes, she'll actually leave down her summon sign right near where we fought the Hydra. And she has some interesting spells. You see, Ulasil is actually a little bit different from, let's say, Vinheim or something like that, because they have created sorceries as well. But you could probably say they're a little bit closer to Thurlin than you could say that they're closer to Vinheim. Vinheim makes spells that go boom, while Ulasil does not. Ulasil really created spells that kind of help benefit, more of passive spells, if you can actually say. Now, if you don't see the summon sign, and you don't have to be human to do this, just quit out the game and reload it. The same thing with the golem earlier. If they don't pop up, you can just restart your game, and they'll a lot of times they'll pop right back up. If it doesn't, just do it a couple of times, and there it is. And it's a gameplay mechanic that you don't have to be human to do it, unlike all the other summons. I think they did that just so that you have the ability to access her, because she does have some cool little spells.
I am Dusk of Ulasil. It is an honor to see thee again. I shall follow thy wishes.
Learn a gesture to learn how to properly bow, you peasants. And you see that she has hidden body, cast light, chameleon, hidden weapon, and repair. Like I said, they're all passive spells. They're not like the regular spells.
For a very long time, I was trapped within the crystal golem. From my home I was taken, banished to a plane of distortion. It was there that thou came to my rescue, long after I had relinquished all hope. So gleeful was I my faith reneweth. The sorceries of Ulysses differ from the magic of Rene. It is difficult to explain. Ulysses' sorceries are, what doth one say? They're somewhat of an approximation. Thine sorceries are more straightforward, negating all but thyself. Dost thou not find some fascination in these discrepancies? The sorcery, it is that.
And I tried talking to her again, but she didn't have any more things to actually say right now. Now, I'm going to actually buy all of her spells and that Ulasil wand. And you'll actually see me use the Iron Golem souls. I don't really need it because I can always get that whenever I go through New Game Plus. So that's why I didn't really care. I wanted to get all of her stuff. Now, if you're asking, well, what exactly do those spells do? For example, Chameleon does what the Ring of Fog does. It'll make you invisible. Repair is pretty obvious. It actually repairs your weapons. Hidden Weapon will hide your right-handed weapon. And a lot of people actually like using that in PvP so that you don't know what kind of weapon to really expect, kind of thing. And the last spell, I'm trying to remember what it was. I guess we're about to see it right here. But the last spell is Hidden Body. That's what it is. And Hidden Body actually turns you invisible. Not completely invisible, just... wait, I think I mentioned that. Let's see. I'll be able to see it right here. Let's see. Hidden Weapon. And there's the description for that. I'll let you read it if you want to. You can pause it. Then Hidden Body, which that turns you in, somewhat invisible. Repair, so that you have the ability to repair your weapons. Just like how Repair Powder does. Cast Light, that's what it was. I can't believe I'm such a moron. Cast Light basically emits a light right above your head. And it's really good to use in some areas because some areas, especially like Tomb of the Giants or inside of even some places in Ulasil, when we actually go there, because that's actually where we're going to go for the DLC, it's really nice to have that little cast light. And so we're going to actually take use of that. And then we had the our Ivory Catalyst. This Ivory Catalyst is made specifically to be able to use these kind of spells. It takes basically just 1 point if you have a specific class that does not have high magic. Most of the classes put you around 9 to 11 on the point scale for you to be able to use magics. So all you would have to do is just level up to 12 and then you can start using it right away. And I think they did that so that you can take use of it if you're not planning on like doing big time spell usages or anything like that. So, but with our class, with our particular build, we're going to be kind of an all-around build. This is not a PvP build at all. In PvP builds, you focus on specific things, and that's not what I'm doing. In my build, I'm wanting to make it a little bit more unique. And I know y'all, I know I say that, but I keep rocking the freaking Claymore. I'm sorry, I just really like the Claymore. But I actually do make a new weapon near the end of this time, or this episode. Well, actually, after the end of the episode, and you'll see it next time.
One other thing about the Darkroot Garden. It is said to house the grave of Sir Artorius, the Abyss Walker. Only of those who ventured into the forest, none has returned.
And we get a little bit of backstory right there. He's just going to repeat the same thing about the grave of Sir Artorius, the Abyss Walker. And that's actually where we're going to visit today. We're actually going to go to that particular grave. We're going to see if it's true. And you kind of see that I've been trying to level up a good portion of my gear so I can get a little bit stronger. But we see that a lot of things have happened, especially from what happened in Ulasil. See, Artorias was sent to Ulasil because of his ability to walk through the abyss. He was able to actually control the abyss and fight the abyss. That's just because of how powerful he was. And we see that they decided after he took care of New Londo, they were like, well, how about you actually head on over to Ulasil? We're getting, I guess you can say they were getting notice that there was hints of the Abyss over there in that area. And so they sent the Abyss Walker, Artorias himself. And when he was sent there, that was supposedly where he died. And we're about to go visit his grave, along with his compadre. I was trying to say companion and compadre at the same time. And we also see, and I know I keep saying that a lot, but though I didn't get to really show it, and I'm going to probably end up showing it on my second character, but what some of the dialogue that can be actually said, or I'm going to do my second playthrough, and I'm just going to kind of record little bits and pieces of it to kind of, it'll probably be a little bit longer of an episode, but I'll probably end up showing what New Game Plus looks like, and I will actually do a couple different things than I normally would have done here. You see how my bonfire went away? That's if you have enemies around a certain point of the bonfire, it'll actually go away, so that you just can't come over here and they're about to hit you, but you rest at the bonfire or anything like that. But that's what I plan on doing. See, normally, and you actually see me doing some stuff on my spells, because I do actually decide to change up my spells a little bit. I decided to go with Magic Weapon. Or Great Magic Weapon, I'm sorry, to kind of give me a bit of a magic boost on my sword. And I decided to also go with Power Within to kind of show you how freaking OP Power Within is. And it looks really good in the HD edition. It kind of reminds me of Kaioken from Dragon Ball Z. And it probably is very reminiscent of it, because it takes away some of your life whenever you use it. And that's kind of what Kaioken does because of it having that real big risk factor of using it. But we, where was I going off on before I start talking about Dragon Ball Z? We were talking about Artorias going down to the Abyss and all that stuff. Okay, so oh, and what I was planning on doing with New Game Plus, we didn't get some of the dialogue from Alvina, and we still can get that dialogue. I can just go and ask for forgiveness from Oswald, but I checked to see how much it would cost, and it's like 33,000 souls, and I just don't feel like spending 33,000 souls, so I'd rather just go ahead and do what I'm doing. But see, Alvina is actually a really good friend to Artorias and also to Sif, the Great Grey Wolf. And in this fight, it's not Artorias. The very first time I came up to this door, I seriously thought I was going to be going up against Artorias. I was like, am I finally going to fight the famous Artorias? But no, I was wrong. I was not able to fight him. That's actually another time that you could fight him. But here, we get to fight one of my favorite bosses of literally all time. This particular boss is actually in my top 5 favorite bosses to go up against. It's not necessarily about the difficulty or the challenge or anything like that. I just love the lore behind this particular boss because I love this character. And you see me kind of riding on the ambience of the area. And the music itself is so good whenever you actually fight the boss here. But you see a giant sword and a gravestone. And we're just going to go ahead and start heading up to it. I'm also going to buff myself because I know what's about to happen. And I accidentally drink an Estus. But we're going to go ahead and buff my weapon. Look how freaking cool, man. How it looks. And I did this backwards somewhat. You see that I ended up losing my buff because I ended up doing this backwards. But let's watch. Sif, the Great Grey Wolf, the friend of Artorias. And he's actually using a version of Artorias' sword right there. Sif is such a great boss. And Sif actually kills me one time. The very first time I fought him, I died so many times. But you see how powerful Power Within, along with my plus 15 Claymore is so freaking powerful against him. And plus, the next time I fight, as you see right here, I'm trying to apply my charcoal pine resin, and then he kills me because I rolled too soon. But Sif is such a great character, and actually, later on, you can summon him to actually fight against Manus, who is also one of the big bad lords and the father of the Abyss. And you can use Sif to actually come help you because there is an extra scene. If I would have actually taken care of the DLC before I actually came to fight Sif, Sif actually would have came up to you and smelled you and realized who you were. And out of sadness that he would feel, he would take it upon himself because you would actually reach out your hand to try and pet him. And he would move away, and out of fear, well, not really fear, out of sorrow, more or less, he ends up pulling away, grabbing his sword, and getting prepared to fight. And I think it has such a good connotation to it. It's basically him having respect for the friend that helped him save his best friend. And unfortunately, I couldn't show it now. We will see it, though. I promise you guys, we will see it. I'll do the New Game Plus video where I kind of do some highlights from it. But now you see me actually applying everything appropriately. But I decided to go with the fire buff because I think the fire buff would actually be a little bit better. Beasts are, like beast-type enemies like him, are weak against fire. So that actually still applies from Bloodborne. That's actually a bit what they used to do in Bloodborne. Now, Sif actually himself as a fight is really not that bad. He has those really long attacks, and he actually has a very wide range. And he's actually kind of agile. But for the most part, if you stay in between his legs, he can't do too much. But, man, fighting Sif is such a good fight. It really, really is. One, he's got a very simple design, but he has such an amazing design at the same time. Because, in all honesty, wolves are my favorite animal of all time. And if I had the ability to transform into an animal, it would be a wolf. But you see right here, once you get Sif down to a certain point, and I actually decided to run to go get my souls back. But you see that he's actually just very weak. And I go ahead and put him out of his misery because I hate fighting Sif, and I love fighting Sif. Sif is one of my favorite bosses, but I hate fighting him, man. Rest in peace. Good boy. He is such a fun fight, but at the same time, it's such a tragic fight because of how much he just cared for his friend, and what happened to his friend, and Ulasil tries to make him, or it forms him to be the type of wolf that he is, trying to guard this place so that no one else can find the secrets. And we'll read the Hornet's Ring. We picked up Lord Kieran's, or Lord's Blade Kieran's ring. So now we have all 4 of the special rings. Like I said, I can't read it, unfortunately. It comes up a little too blurry on my screen, but that ring essentially makes it easier for you to do high crit damage. So if you do a backstab, it'll do a lot of damage. And here we're going to pay our respects to Artorias and the Great Grey Wolf. Guys, I'm Legendary Nats, and I thank you all for showing up here. I hope that y'all have a great evening, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.